Yes, we are.
Okay. Lost the opportunity to start.
With the Maasai, the Man Nation of Kenya and Tanzania, comprising all Ilotion, these are social territorial sections, included or not included in the Maasai Agreement of 1904-1911, and those treaties and agreements entered into in Tanganyika, the present-day Tanzania. Your Majesty King Charles, the King of England, Scotland, Northern Ireland, and head of the Commonwealth, subject of our petition of the Maasai of Kenya and Tanzania. These are agreements known as treaties with the colonial British governments. Your Majesty, we hope this message finds you well and in good health and high spirits. We write to Your Majesty on behalf of the Maasai people to respectively bring to your attention a matter of historical significance that has had lasting negative consequences for our communities. The basis of our claim: the Maasai, as a proud and ancient pastoral people, have a rich cultural heritage deeply rooted in their lands that have been home to our ancestors for generations. However, our history has been marked by a series of events, two of which are the Maasai and British colonial agreements of 1904 and 1911, made between Kenyan Maasai elders and the British colonial government, which has a profound and enduring impact on our community. For Kenya and Serengeti and Ngorongoro, including Loliondo, for the Maasai of Tanzania, signed during the colonial era. These agreements entered into without proper representation or consent from the Maasai people. This has led to the disposition of significant portions of our ancestral land, resulting into displacement and severe socio-economic challenges for our community. This loss of our lands disrupted our traditional way of life, disintegrated our cultural heritage, and weakened our capacity to sustain ourselves and our future generations.
These include, but not limited to, the forceful eviction, loss of life and livelihood, separation of clans and families. The Nkidong massacre of 1895, the Ololonga and Meruturut massacre of 1918, forcefully removal of the Samburu from Laikipia African Reserve in 1920 to the lower land, which denies them the best grazing land. The deportation and eventual disappearance of the Samburu leaders and Oluiboni Leanduma of 1934, the killing of those who resisted the move from Laikipia. In the late 1800s, it was estimated that close to two-thirds of the Maasai perished due to diseases attributed to foreign contacts. The Maasai lacking immunity, it is alleged that this was a chemical warfare unleashed by rogue officers due to the strangeness of the illness. This was also true for the livestock disease that wiped out close to 90% of the livestock. The move southward also resulted in further death of men and livestock due to the sudden move to the new environment. It also resulted in the interclan conflicts in Narok, Laikipia, and Kajiado. The loss of land estimated to 56% of the Asro land from 55,000 square kilometers to 24 square kilometers, around 7,660,255 acres. These atrocities are well documented elsewhere. The balkanization of Maasai into subgroups divided and rule tactics, losing their unity resulting in today's political division and negotiation power. As a result, to this agreement, treaties, it represent Day Kenya. The Maasai lands remained a closed district until recently, 1975. This put the Maasai at a major disadvantage, culturally, economically, and politically, with severe economic consequences, resulting in massive sale of the remaining land after the opening of the new reservation. A just and fair compensation is therefore necessary. This petition does not seek to dwell unnecessarily on the death of this pain.
Both agreements struck treaties. Congress were done in the name of the Crown. This, therefore, Your Majesty places you in a unique position to address and put this matter to rest. Our petition. Your Majesty, we humbly request that you consider our petition to review and address the grievances stemming from the Maasai and colonial agreements. Our petition seeks the following. 1. We, the Ma of Kenya, never signed the independence document in Lancaster House and would like an opportunity to do so. A reasonable response to this petition will go a long way in enabling us to have a closure on this matter. 2. Reopen the Lancaster House document so the Ma can sign it. 3. The Maasai of Tanzania appeal to the king to exert its influence on Commonwealth nation of the United Republic of Tanzania to stop the disposition of the lands of Ngorongoro, a legacy left behind by the colonial government, who dispossessed the Maasai of lands such as Serengeti and parts of Ngorongoro. 4. Acknowledgement of the historical injustices. We kindly request Your Majesty acknowledgement of the historical injustices inflicted upon the Maasai people or the Ma people as a result of the one-sided Maasai agreement in both Kenya and Tanzania. 5. Land restitution and compensation. We propose a comprehensive land restitution and compensation plan to rectify the disposition of our ancestral lands and provide just restitution and compensation for the Ma community for the hardships and wrongs done to them.
Number 6 of these, the part of the petition, is that intellectual property rights is number 6. We acknowledge the positive role that Britain and the Commonwealth played in building the Maasai brand. We appeal for compensation and a greater share of our intellectual property rights. Also, any artifacts and spiritual items that may be in your possession. Number 7, cultural preservation and revitalization. In recognition of the importance of preserving our cultural heritage, we seek support and resources to revitalize and preserve positive Maasai traditions, language, and practices. Number 8, economic and educational opportunities. We appeal for assistance in the form of economic development initiatives and educational opportunities that will empower the Maasai community to thrive in the modern world while respecting our cultural traditions and values, including language. Scholarship for the Maasai community of Tanzania and Kenya will go a long way in equipping the next generation of Maasai to cope with the challenges of modern times. Number 9, and the last one, is the following the above, an acknowledgement of the wrongs committed followed by an apology, are expected. The legal precedents of our claim. Your Majesty, our demands are thus, and thus your response is not unique. The most recent in your response is to the Maori and the Waitangi Treaty of New Zealand, the Aborigines, and the Australian government. That's a special treaty. Our appeal. Your Majesty, we appeal to the high morality and sense of justice of the British people. We understand the complexities of addressing historical grievances, but we believe that the resolution of these issues will contribute to reconciliation, justice, and betterment of our people. We look to Your Majesty's wisdom and compassion in finding a just and equitable resolution to the enduring consequences of the colonial Maasai agreements. We sincerely hope that our plea will receive your serious consideration and that steps can be taken to redress the wrongs that have beset our community. We remain steadfast in our commitment to preserving our cultural identity and contributing to the prosperity of your kingdom. Thank you for your time, Your Majesty. Yours sincerely, the Maasai of Kenya and Tanzania.